Okay, so you've got this theory, which I love, like that cloud, that automation in the cloud may put the data scientists out of business because it's so easy to use and so ubiquitous, so advanced. And correct me if I'm not quoting you correctly. That the data scientist, it will handle many of those low-level chores that the data scientist now does. In other words, automation in the cloud might actually kill the data scientist. Am I stating your theory correctly?
Yeah, you are. I mean, look, obviously, it's not overnight transition, but here's what's
Mhm.
happening. There was a period in the 90s that was kind of the AI winter, where AI took a really big step backwards. We didn't advance substantially for a long time, at least not at the sort of commercial level. And then in the last 20 years, probably even in the last 10 years, it's advanced very, very quickly. And largely led by very sophisticated data scientists that have studied this, that this is their career, is to do this
Mhm.
well, to
Right.
build these models. I think where we're going, and I think we're clearly past what I would call AI winter,
Oh yeah.
and the AI renaissance is done now too. And we're now going into the industrial age. That's kind of how I would say it.
Or you,
It's,
you
I
don't think
mean,
we're kind of in the AI hype cycle now? You think we're solidly into the industrial age of AI?
I think we're very close to approaching that. Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason for that is because we're now taking this very powerful technology and making it accessible to all the software developers in the world. We're really, the target here isn't necessarily every person can go do AI. The target is every software engineer can do AI, and that's a
Uh-huh.
much bigger body of people that now
Right.
have access to this technology and that are
Right.
already working on business problems. They're already connected to, hey, here's some requirements or some problem solving for, here's some tech I'm building. If I can integrate AI into that technology the way I can integrate the web into my solutions, or the way I can integrate any other sort of modern tech into that solution, then it all of a sudden the addressable market, the people that can use AI, just grows exponentially, and I think the adoption therefore grows.
Gotcha. All right. So in other words, the cloud is going to be the great enabler for software developers. And I know at this point, I mean, some of the companies have complained to me like, we can't do AI internally because it's so expensive, and mainly because we can't hire the people. Because I literally have heard of one AI specialist recently who's making $1 million a year. And I don't think that's as far-fetched as it sounds. But you're saying there could be this era of enablement by the cloud, so that your average highly skilled professional software developer is going to be able to implement AI without some of those really really sci-fi advanced skills.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is that those very exceptionally talented data scientists that are so
Mhm.
expensive are
Right.
going to um, uh, are going to work for the cloud vendors, the hyperscalers, and other technology vendors that to create technology to make AI accessible to developers. But the usage of AI, the implementation of AI into a business problem, will more and more frequently be done by software engineers.
Right. It seems to me there's going to be, I don't know if you check with this theory about this theory that I have, sort of a WYSIWYG AI dashboard in the way there used to be a WYSIWYG, web development dashboard, and that even some staffers, maybe some sales folks, are going to be able to do some bottom end reasonable AI stuff without some of the advanced AI scientists. Is it correct?
That's right. Yeah, I
Incorrect?
mean, yeah. Take a look at these auto ML technologies. They're getting
Right.
closer and closer. And look, combine that with other things that are happening in the industry, like these low code and no code solutions that are coming out
Right.
now.
Right.
So if I can take a low code solution, combine it with some auto ML, again, it sounds crazy when I say it out loud right now, but we're very close to those things coming together.
Mhm.
And I think there will always be a place for the most advanced data scientists, just like there was
Right.
prior to AI being such a big concept. But the key here is to make the core technology available to more people.
And I want to get to the data scientist piece, but I think that's interesting about the no code, low code. It seems like just in the last couple months, I've been hearing that phrase so much. It might be the phrase du jour at this point. Low code, no code. Is that an idea that's very much on the rise now?
Yeah, that's actually another thing that I think is a trend that we're going to see really soon. So again, kind of similar to AI, in the 90s, um, people would build apps. It was normal to build applications to solve a business problem. In the
Right.
2000s, we went to a model where businesses thought the ROI is never there. Don't ever build apps. And you saw the rise of major enterprise software plays.
Mhm.
And then I think in the year 2020, 2021,
Mhm.
we're seeing that the bar to build software has gotten lower. It's easier. It's so much
Right.
easier, in fact, that it
Right.
might be less work in some cases to use these really well-built frameworks, build your business logic on top of it,
Mhm.
versus buying something that's bigger than you need and customizing it. So
Right.
I think we're going to see a resurgence of building applications to solve problems. And I think some of that, not all of that, but some of that will happen with low-code solutions like Honeycode,
Mhm.
where sort of non-developers, call them, people who can use Excel very well. Like that's the
Right.
kind of level of technology user we're looking for. If we can
Right.
get them building kind of utility applications that help take and automate business processes or do sort of simplified business applications. And look, there will always be a place for more advanced software development, but I do think
Sure. Of
just like
course.
AI, it's kind of everything moving down a little bit. AI now available to developers, simple application development now available to maybe analysts, and so on
Right.
and so forth.
Right. So my title of cloud automation and the death of data scientists, you're actually really referring to cloud-based AI and the death of the data scientists, or something like that. Right.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. So there are two different concepts here. I mean, cloud automation's a big word, a big
Right.
topic. Do we mean
Right.
infrastructure automation? Do we mean, what kind of automation we're talking about? Here we're talking about the automation of AI ML technologies
Hmm.
to the point where it's accessible to other audiences, to where data scientists will focus instead on creating those automation solutions, not on implementing them in every enterprise.
Right. Do you see, key cloud trends that are really driving automation? I mean, is that, what do you see in that area of like of cloud automation? What's the relationship and how is that growing or not
Yeah, I mean,
growing?
if we step out of just the machine learning space and the AI space, automation is critical to the cloud. I don't think that you
Right.
can really you don't accomplish a cloud adoption project without automation built in.
Hmm.
The reality is that um, taking a data center and putting it in the cloud as is
Right.
doesn't get you all the transformative benefits that you associate with the cloud. And so,
Shift and lift, as they call it.
yeah, lift and shift exactly. And look,
Lift to shift. Right.
yeah, and look, there will be parts of your infrastructure where that makes sense, but the bulk should be some kind of transformation. So we want to see you adopt cloud principles. We want to see you adopting DevOps and Agile along the way.
Hmm.
And to make those transformations, automation is critical to all of them. So, when you hear words like, "Hey, how am I going to patch my applications in the cloud?" Those become triggers that, hey, you're not thinking automated enough. You're not thinking immutable. You're not thinking ephemeral, which are the thoughts we want to employ in cloud-based architectures.
Because the idea of patching your automation in the cloud, what is the flaw in that reasoning as you see it?
Well, the idea of patching a server means you've probably not automated it. It probably means somebody logs into the server, deploys a patch, tests it, kind of
Hmm.
old school sysops style management. And
Right.
again, I think for a period of time, those will still exist because not every application is going to be modernized. But a
Hmm.
modernized cloud native application is going to look really different than that. It's going to update it, you're going to deploy new infrastructure. And
Right.
uh,
Right.
you're never going to patch it in place. You're going to just change the automation to deploy a new version. New version is going to launch, and you're going to redirect traffic to the new version. That's the kind of cloudy way to adopt.